Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Dr. Hazila. My name is Rifa Batrisha binti Khairuddin. With my fellow group members Nur Aisha, Nur Nadira and Nur Hafiza will be presenting about the takaful industry between two countries which are Qatar and Egypt. Okay, for the introduction, I'll be explaining briefly about the takaful industry. In general, the history of insurance and takaful was when the history of insurance began with marine insurance in the 14th century. It was invented as a solution to the problem of sea piracy and to protect from the losses due to the possibility of ships sinking in high waters. Both carried immense financial value. Okay, general takaful has six types, which are motor, fire, marine, liability, engineering, and miscellaneous takaful. Family takaful provides the participant with protection and long-term savings. It covers individual family like education, rider, and mortgage. For the group family takaful, it covers like employers, clubs, association. The medical health takaful covers the cost of private medical treatment such as the cost of hospitalization and healthcare. Moving on to the next part, the overview of takaful industry Qatar and Egypt. Since the countries that have been chosen are both Middle East countries, it is a must to briefly explain the history of takaful in the Middle East. Takaful in the Middle East represent the lion's share of the global takaful market. However, there is a dearth in tracing and documenting the early beginnings of takaful in each country from both the business and regulatory development perspectives. The Middle East consists of countries like Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Palestine, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Turkey, and others as well. Since then, uh, according to Al-Habshi and Razak, the first Islamic insurance firm was founded in Sudan in 1979. Since then, five alternative operational structures have emerged on the market, like a mutual structure in Sudan, a cooperative structure in Saudi Arabia, a structure for insurance in Iran, a participation system in Turkey, and a takaful structure in the United Arab Emirates. While the history of takaful in Qatar begins with Alico, who was foreign insurer, also the pioneer for the Qatari insurance industry in 1962. However, it took the Qataris significantly quicker to respond when 2 years later, the Qatar Insurance Company was established as the first national insurance provider. The Insurance Law Number 1 of 1966, issued to govern the operation of insurance business, assigned the regulatory responsibility of the sector to the Ministry of Economy and Commerce. While in Egypt, during the time of the British rule, which is 1882 until 1956, cotton agriculture was a core industry fueling the Egyptian economy. This development encouraged British and French insurance companies to penetrate the market as agents in 1882. 12 years later, the market witnessed the emergence of the first Egyptian insurance company, the National Insurance Company, later renamed to Missouri Life Insurance in 2011. The involvement of the private insurance sector started in 1979 with the establishment of the Suez Canal Company for Insurance Takaful was introduced in the market via the Egyptian Saudi Insurance House, licensed in 2002 and started operation in 2004. Egyptian Saudi Insurance House and other takaful operators had minimal guidance for almost a decade until the regulator issued Decision Number 8 of 2014 for Sharia governance and Decision Number 23 of 2019 for Takaful regulation to monitor and govern Takaful firms.
Next, we move on to the milestones of takaful industry in Qatar and Egypt. The development of the takaful industry in Qatar has shown significant growth since the first establishment of Qatar Islamic Insurance Company in 1995. In 1962, Alico, a foreign insurer and pioneer of the Qatari insurance sector, introduced takaful to the country. The Qataris, on the other hand, were far quicker to react, in which 2 years later, the Qatar Insurance Company was founded as the country's first insurer. The Ministry of Economy and Commerce is in charge of regulating the insurance industry under Insurance Law No. 1, which was published in 1966 to regulate how insurance companies operate. While in Egypt, cotton farming was a major sector of the Egyptian economy throughout the British occupation, which is from 1882 until 1956. In 1882, this growth attracted agents from French and British insurance companies to enter the market. The National Insurance Company, the first insurance provider in Egypt, entered the market 12 years later, which later renamed to Misrule Life Insurance in 2011. Before other insurers began operating in 1928, the National Insurance Company was the only national player. The first milestone of the takaful industry in Egypt can be seen from the establishment of Misrule Insurance in 1934 as the first insurance company with the capital and management of Egypt. It is the largest insurance entity in Middle East and North Africa region. The purpose of it was originally to provide insurance protection for the Egyptian projects in support of national independence, which has slowly become the emergence of the Egyptian national insurance industry. The company became wholly owned by the Egyptian government in 1960. Egypt has become the pioneer country involved in the contemporary takaful industry, in which the first policy was written in 1964.
Then, let's continue to the performance of takaful industry in both countries. For Qatar, takaful industry in Qatar has displayed a good performance since year 2019 until now. According to Beit al-Mashura Finance Consultations Analysis, the contribution of the takaful industry has been increased by 5.5% in year 2019. The contributions generated by the 5 takaful companies operating in the domestic market in Qatar amount to over Qatari rial 1.29 billion, which represented growth of 5.5% compared to the previous year. 5 local takaful businesses in Qatar generated insurance surpluses of Qatari rial 113 million in year 2021. And the net earning of the takaful industry is expected to remain modest in year 2022 and year 2023. Then, for Egypt, the takaful industry in Egypt has shown a poor performance in year 2021. The contribution of the takaful industry reached Egyptian pound 4.7 billion in year 2021, as compared to the previous year's contribution, which is Egyptian pound 6.3 billion. The contribution by the takaful industry in Egypt has been declined by around 25%. Meanwhile, the contribution of the conventional industry has been increased by 35%, which is from Egyptian pound 32.7 billion in year 2020 to Egyptian pound 44.3 billion in year 2021.
The Sharia framework and governance in Qatar. The Qatar Central Bank and Qatar Financial Centre, respectively, are in charge of policing the Sharia governance system in Qatar. To help with banking operation, the QCB published prudential regulations, updates, and explanation. The QFC also enacts its own regulatory guidelines for every financial industry, including banking, insurance, and the stock market. IFI activities are covered by the QFC regulation guidelines. For instance, the QFC Regulatory Authority has published a rule book to regulate the operation of licensed business involved in Islamic financial industry. Every approved company conducting business in Islamic finance is mandated by QFC to create a Sharia supervisory board, which must have a minimum of 3 members. The rulebook also specified qualifications for Sharia board members, asking that they be chosen from individuals qualified and experienced enough to carry out their duties. And in accordance with the guidebook, each Islamic financial institution should set up procedure and accounting control to ensure that all of its activities always adhere to Sharia. Okay, next, the Sharia framework and governance in Egypt. Egypt's Sharia framework and governance is divided by two, which are legislative and regulatory regime and regulatory and supervisory authorities. First, for the legislative and regulatory regime, following receipt of the necessary authorization from the Central Bank of Egypt (CBE), banks are permitted to provide corporate or retail products labeled as Islamic. For instance, an Ijarah license or a Sukuk license, the CBE will only grant these license requests from authorized banks. Next, there are authorized takaful insurance business operating in Egypt, and takaful insurance is likewise subject to regulation by the Financial Regulatory Authority.
Next, we move on to the overview of the takaful operators in Qatar and Egypt. As for Qatar, the company is Al Khalij Takaful Insurance. Al Khalij Takaful Insurance Company was established in 1979 with the purpose of providing various types of conventional insurance and reinsurance services. Proud of their over 14 years excellent performances, the company has changed into Takaful Insurance Company in 2010 to comply with the Islamic Sharia principles. The company's objective is to provide transparent services to the customers. They strive to be crystal clear and straightforward with beliefs that these are important elements for a mutually rewarding business relationship. The company mainly focuses on claims and compensations fairly with efficiency and punctuality. The company's vision is to be the company of first choice for personal and commercial insurance products and services, and the mission is to deliver excellence by providing clients with the most competitive products in terms of benefits, values and services, and create peace of mind for the customers. As for Egypt, we are going to talk about Orient Takaful Insurance Company. Orient Takaful Insurance Egypt was established in 2009 as an affiliate company of the Orient Insurance (EJSC), a leading company in its origin country, the United Arab Emirates. The parent company is currently operating in 7 countries and is 100% owned by Al Futtaim Business Group. The Orient Insurance (PJSC) strives to achieve its objectives in which to render a streamlined, professionally competent insurance service of the highest standard, to process claims fairly and expeditiously, to follow responsible underwriting policies with long-term profitability in view, to diversify our product range, adding new policies and covers to answer the special needs of market segments, and to project Orient as a market leader with a reputation for professionalism in meeting the insurance requirements of their clients. Orient Takaful Insurance Egypt's prestigious performance can be proven through its achievement in it as it is ranked number 1 in Takaful market and number 3 in the Egyptian market non-life insurance market. The company also received A+ rating from AM Best and A from S&P, which makes them the highest rated insurer in Egypt, Africa and the Middle East. They also classified as the fastest growing company in the Egyptian insurance market from their annual growth rate, which exceeded 30% and non-life insurance business transactions.
The line of services or product offered by Al-Khalij Takaful Insurance in Qatar. There are 6 products offered by Al-Khalij Takaful Insurance, which are motor, property, medical, travel and group life marine engineering, and casualty and liability. For motor insurance, policy is a legally required document provided by an insurance provider as a means of limiting public responsibility and safeguarding members of the public from potential road accidents. Every driver who owns a car is required by law to obtain a single motor insurance coverage. Insurance provided by Al-Khalij are guaranteed protection from physical harm, theft, fire and third-party liability with the comprehensive motor insurance. For medical, group life and travel, a mutual cooperative health insurance with special feature is offered by Al-Khalij Takaful Insurance. It is crucial to protect the individual or company personnel in case of illness because of the expenses of medical care and attention is increasing both domestically and internationally. The cost is therefore unimportant regardless of whether a person needs regular inexpensive treatment or a significant surgical surgery. Okay, next, the line of services or product offered by Orient Takaful Insurance Company in Egypt. Orient Takaful offers 2 types of insurance, which is for corporate and individual. For corporate includes motor insurance, property insurance, marine insurance, engineering insurance, miscellaneous accident insurance, energy insurance and medical insurance. Therefore, insurance offered for individual are household insurance, travel insurance, motor insurance, and also individual and family medical insurance.
Then we move to the issues and challenges takaful of Qatar and Egypt. For Egypt, takaful industry in Egypt faced more issues and challenges as compared to the takaful industry in Qatar. One of the issues and challenges in takaful industry of Egypt is they need to compete with the conventional insurance industry. Based on the contribution of both industry, conventional insurance industry show a good performance. This is because the contribution of conventional industry was increased by 35% in year 2021. Meanwhile, Takaful industry show a poor performance contribution in year 2021 because the contribution of Takaful industry was decreased by 25%. It showed that the Egyptians prefer conventional insurance more than Islamic insurance. Other than that, one of the issues that have been occurred in Egypt is the increase of the inflation which can affect the takaful operations. Inflation is the most important issue that occurred in Egypt and the main reason behind it is because of the rapidly growing population that happened in Egypt. The inflation can cause the rise in price due to demand exceeding the supply. This issue might be a reason why Egyptians choose not to participate in takaful because of an urgent need for the money at the time. Moreover, when one of the participants is facing a risk, the cost of the losses will be higher because of the inflation. Therefore, inflation is one of the issues that cause the takaful industry to face a decline. In order to survive from this issue, The takaful industry should control the contribution wisely so that the contribution will be increased. Meanwhile, for Qatar, Qatar has been proving a good performance in takaful industry. Takaful insurance in Qatar is well accepted by their people. Therefore, takaful industry in Qatar did not face any serious issue or challenge which can affect their operations. Moreover, Qatar is one of the leading countries in the world in new technology adoption. Therefore, Qatar is able to adapt.
In conclusion, like insurance, Takaful can provide financial assistance while remaining free from the prohibited elements involved like uh, riba, gharar, and maisir in the insurance practices. In addition, Takaful is known as ethical insurance. It is based on the concept of mutual help and cooperation, and it fosters solidarity and brotherhood among the participants. Takaful has established itself as a viable alternative insurance model on a global scale, demonstrating notable advancements and growth in the Middle East area, where the most Takaful contributions have been registered. The region has had a variety of experiences with the development of Takaful, and researchers believe that tracing the origins of the Takaful industry is crucial because it can show how quickly a country's Takaful industry has developed by comparing the time between the establishment of the first Takaful company and the issuance of the first Takaful regulation. That's all from us. Thank you.